Enes and Jack are two shepherds who develop a sexual and emotional relationship. However, their relationship becomes complicated when both of them get married to their respective girlfriends. But before we begin, please consider subscribing to our channel. In the summer of 1963, two young men meet when they find work sheep herding for the summer on Brookback Mountain, a setting in Wyong. Enes is 19 and engaged to be married in the fall and aspires to someday run his own ranch, following in the footsteps of his parents who died in a car crash and left young Enes and his brother and sister alone to fend for themselves. Jack is about the same age and dreams of becoming the greatest rodeo cowboy alive. Both feel essentially alone in the world, while sharing a sheep hand's back-breaking workload, facing the toil and troubles of the weather, shortage of food, and wild animal attacks. Their working friendship eventually develops into something more, breaking their employer's rule that one must sleep with the sheep and one at the camp. One night after an evening of boozing and shooting the bull, they end up sharing their tent to avoid freezing. The bitter cold leads to them sleeping together and spooning each other. Jack initially touches and Enes eventually responds. Over the next several days, the two increasingly give in to their attraction to one another. When the summer ends, the two men separate and continue with their lives. Enes gets married with Alma, who soon gets pregnant and gives birth to two daughters, Alma Jr. and Jenny. Jack, by contrast, is still drawn to other men and remains unmarried until he meets and after a drunken one-night stand, has a son with Frisbee cowgirl Laureen, whose father owns a profitable business selling farming machinery in Texas and openly looks down to Jack. Searching for acceptance, approval, and unconditional love, Jack writes to Enes in 1967 when they arrange to meet again. When Jack's arrived in Wyong, both men passionately kiss. Enes makes a weak attempt to be discreet, but the kiss is seen by Alma, who becomes sickened of it. From that point on, Enes and Jack's relationship rebuilds and develops even more deeply. Alma becomes increasingly suspicious about the man's frequent fishing trips up to the Brookback Mountain, and eventually Alma and Enes gets a divorce in 1975 November, Alma getting custody of their daughters. As soon as he hears the divorce is final, Jack shows up in Wyong hoping to now be able to live a life ranching with Enes, but he explains that if they dare to live together, they will be killed by the locals for being queer. This leads to an arrangement whereby Jack drives from Texas to Wyong to meet with Enes 3 or 4 times a year, each meeting leading to another emotional departure. In 1978, Enes is desperately struggling to make ends meet and pay child support, and becomes briefly involved with the waitress Casey. As a result, Enes meets less frequently with Jack, who visits Mexico looking to satisfy his physical needs in seedy underground gay bars and clubs. When Jack taunts Enes with this information in an effort to make him jealous, he ends his rant by saying, "I wish I could quit you." In 1980, Enes gets a postcard sent by Jack returned with deceased marked across it. When Enes contacts Laureen, she tells him that Jack was accidentally killed by a tire iron while changing a flat. All the while, Enes envisions Jack being beaten to death by a homophobic mob, just as Annie has described happened to a neighbor of his when he was a child. Laureen also tells Enes that Jack wanted his ashes spread to his favorite place, Brookback Mountain. Enes goes to visit Jack's childhood home, where Jack's father insists that Jack's ashes will be placed in the family burial plot. At Jack's mother's invitation, Enes visits Jack's bedroom, where he finds 2 shirts, his and one of Jack's, worn by 2 young men in the summer of 1963 and smeared with blood from a fight. The shirts hang together on the same hanger, folded into one another. Jack's denim shirt with Enes's dress shirt inside. Enes takes the shirt with him when he leaves. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know in the comment section below which movie you want us to recap next. As always, until the next time.